One of the things that will help you a great deal as a musician is knowing and understanding the subject of harmonization, because piano playing goes beyond just being able to pick out the melody notes on the piano. You want to play something that is exciting. For example, if you're on the piano and you're doing this, and someone else is doing this, they're going to sound better. And the more voices you add, how many of us can hear how it gets better with additional notes? And what about this? So every note added is what? Is an advantage. But how do you add these notes, and what do you need to know that others already know? Well, I'll tell you this. Every time you're on the piano, what you need first is the melody, because you can't harmonize a melody that you haven't figured out just yet. Does that make sense? It's like trying to cook and you don't have what to cook, but you have spices and you just add in the spices and you're heating everything. Does it work that way? But when you have rice, mm, now I'm thinking food. When you have rice and chicken, then you can do what? Season it. So harmonization helps us to season the melodies and make them sound good. Going by traditional principles that have governed music for the last 400 years, it's best to harmonize in thirds. Harmonize in what? In thirds. And you can also harmonize in sixths, which are considered the opposite of thirds. But how do you know what your thirds are? Listen, if you've ever read sheet music before, even if you dropped out, raise your hand with pride. Now is the moment. I love you all. So, you would agree with me that you have lines and spaces. So, in music, harmonization works line to line or space to space. I don't know if this makes sense to anybody. So if you have a note sitting on a line, you put another note what? On the line beneath. If you have a note on a space, you put a note what? Underneath the space. It's tidy to the eyes, it's easier to read. That's how harmonization has been done over the last 400 years, and that's why we consider it very normal. So, but since we're not doing sheet music now, but I encourage everybody, please, I'm a sheet musician, and it doesn't stop me from from playing by ear, right? Good. So let's do this, everybody. I want you to do this. Follow me to the keyboard. What's a third below this? So let's count. This is the one. So once we say a third below this, we've called it the one. So you count two and three. Does that make sense? Now, when it comes to letters, a third below C is what letter?
A.
A. So technically, a third below C is some type of A. Are we together? Which can be A flat, which can be A sharp, which can be A natural. How many of us understand my point? But according to the C major scale, what type of A is in the C major scale?
A
Natural.
natural.
A natural. So whilst it's possible that a third can be the A flat, and you don't want to rule that out, and it can be the A sharp, but what's the type of A that's needed? The A
A
natural.
natural.
Does it make sense? What's the third below D? Let's go to the piano. And even without the piano, what's the third below D? D
B.
presupposes
B.
that there's
B.
C
B.
and there's what? B.
B.
Does that make
B.
sense? So a third
Yes.
below D is what? Is some type
B.
of B. Can be a B flat, can be a B sharp, can be a B natural. But D will look at all these types of B and tell the B natural, you are the tone of my scale. in the scale of my scale. You show that's the third. That's in the what? That's in the key. How many of us understand the concept of thirds? So
Mm-hmm.
you choose it not just by the letter, but you choose the specific. So a third below D, what are the generic thirds? B flat,
Flat.
B natural, B sharp, any type of B. But what is the specific third? B
Be
natural.
natural.
Does
Be
that make
natural.
sense? Now, someone is wondering, why do we have to learn that the B flat? Yes, it helps you understand chromaticism, which is the ability to make things sound colorful. I'll show you this. What's the third below this?
B. Natural.
B. B natural,
Be.
right? Beautiful. So
Mm-hmm.
look at this. Amazing grace. Did you hear the B natural? Now listen to this next version. How many of us heard the difference when we switch the
Yes.
type of B? So the second time that I changed the type of B, it's said to be what? Chromatic, colorful. We're using a type of B that's not in the scale, so we appreciate it more, and that's what I meant. How many of us understand my point? So you have to know all the available types of C, and then the C that's in the scale. That's how it works. You have to know all the available types of F, and then the F that's in the scale. There's the F sharp, there's the F flat, there's the F natural, generic Fs, and then the specific F, which is what? The F natural. Chromatic makes things what? Colorful. So that's why this is important. But now that you've understood this, we'll go to the specific thirds in the key of C major. So let's harmonize the entire C major scale from C to C. Can we all unmute and try it? One, two, ready, go. Now try joy to the world. The Lord is come. Let's go ahead and try it. Beautiful. Okay, so now that you've understood your thirds, now I'm going to introduce you to the concept of partial chords. Now, as a beginner, you're not supposed to start playing chords on the piano, C, E, G, and all of that. You have to learn partial chords first, handle two notes before we can entrust you with more. So you want to hear it? We don't trust you with three notes, but we know you can handle two, right? And we love you. We feel that three notes will be what? A lot for you to handle. I'm kind, right? So I decided to start off with two notes. And I can get a little bit more generous, if you can prove to me that you can handle two notes. So let's start with partial chords and then we get into complete chords. But to understand partial chords, you need to understand three harmonic groups, okay, that determine how things go on. They are gatekeepers in the key of C major. You talk about the CEG group. They are responsible for food, right? In the key of C major. And they're responsible for food and everything that has to do with food, right? And then you have the, okay, FAC. That should have been food, okay? So, but what, whatever. The FAC group is in charge of what? Electricity and internet, right? So that's the next group, FAC. And what's the third group? GBD. GBD. They are in charge of transport, from road transport to aviation, name it. They're in charge of everything. Okay? Yes. So, how many groups do we have? The CEG group, the FAC group, the GBD group, and of course, the what? The GBDF group. How many groups? Three. So the GBDF is a subgroup in the GBD group. Okay, beautiful. How many of us have understood how things work around here? Beautiful. So tell me the groups one more time. What's the first one?
CEG.
What's the second one?
FAC.
And what's the third one?
GBD.
And
GBDF.
beautiful. Every third played on the piano will imply any of these groups. And I want you to pay attention to this and tell me what partial chord is this?
CEG.
How many of us can say that this is a partial chord for CEG?
CEG.
Beautiful. Moving on. I'm going to play randomly thirds on the piano. Do I have people from the VIP PD in the house, detectives that will come to the scene and look and say, hey, I can't see the whole chord, but this partial chord reminds me, I know, I should have used syndicates in today's class. I know the syndicates are responsible for this, and they can't get away. So how many of us would do the detective work and get things happening? What group is this? You just arrived at the scene.
FAC.
FAC.
But there's no C's, just F and A.
Mhm.
It's a partial chord. You all are trying to cover up, but we know it's the FAC. What partial chord is this?
GBD.
GBD.
CEG.
CEG.
GBD.
GBD. CEG.
EG.
You all have solved 6 to 7 crimes, so there's no more crime to solve. People are now behaving well. All the nobody's doing anything else because you get caught once you move. How many of us know all the thirds on the piano and what to do? So add a bass note to this.
F.
Beautiful. Add the bass note to this.
G. G.
And add another bass note to this.
G.
Beautiful. So everybody, play these notes and add bass notes to them. Every single one of them. Okay? So instead of having the complete chord, which is CEG, you see a fragment, a part of it that lets you know that, hey, I don't have the CEG, but with the CE, I know it's a CEG. Or with the EG, I know it's a CEG. And sometimes, as you're going to figure out the CG, that's still a partial chord for the C major chord. How many of us can see CEG in this? What do you have here?
FAC.
FAC.
FAC. Benefits of thirds will add the alto voice to your melody. Will do what? Will add the alto voice to your melody. How do you add the alto voice to your melody? By introducing what? Thirds. How many of us know what I'm talking about? What this means is that you can play the alto voice of a song even without adding that to the melody. Think about this. What's the alto voice for this?
A.
A. What's the alto voice for this?
C.
C. So what would be the alto part for this? Lord, I will lift. What should the alto singers sing?
ABC.
So go ahead and unmute and sing it. Lord, I. No, hit just that note. You already know. The melody is Lord, I will lift. What's going to be the alto?
Wouldn't it be? Wouldn't it
Lord,
be
I
G?
Lord, I will. Now, it's usually ideal to start off a song on the one chord. Does that make sense? To start off a song on the one chord. So, how do
Mm-hmm.
you adjust this partial chord to keep the melody and have the one chord? Well, you do that by lowering the A to the G. How many of us can see that? So if you do this, the bass will be what? Lord, I will lift. Does that make sense? But if you lower the A down to the G, you have what? Lord, I will lift. If you want, you can also go, Lord, I will lift. That's the movement from the G to the B. And you can also do this. Lord, I will lift. It's
And
dynamic.